This podcast is intended for mature audiences and is not considered appropriate for enjoyment in the workplace. However, as bad as this podcast is, we will take anyone we can get, including those who are hard of hearing.
You can stop the search for something intellectual and fulfilling. You've tuned into the Diary of a Bald Man, and there is no going back. Let the moaning, groaning, and bitching begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Diary of a Bald Man. If you're new here, buckle up. And if you've been here since the beginning, you're probably wondering where the hell I've been. So what we're going to do is, with today's episode, we'll call it the Apology Tour. Not because I love apologizing, but because you deserve to know what's been going on behind the scenes. So let's crack this wide open. Now, a lot of you have followed and seen that it's been a couple of months. I've had a couple of emails asking why the show was not on the People's Choice Podcast Awards this year. Well, with me having been overseas last year and then focusing on other items that I will discuss here on today's show, I had to step away. It was either prioritize, ear trauma to all the faithful listeners out there and some of the random ones as well. But, that's just not the case. First of all, I didn't quit. I didn't sell out, and I didn't run off to join the circus, even though I've got the face for it. But we didn't go into the awards this year because I did not meet the criteria to put in for it. Now, was the show still good? Yes. Did we have numerous downloads? Yes. Are we still, developing globally? Absolutely. For those that are new and didn't know about our global podcast, if you go to diaryofabaldman.com and scroll down, you will see the global map. I mean, we've got Guam, Hawaii, Marshall Islands. We're in Omaha, we're in Florida, we're in Germany, England, Europe, Ireland. We just cover the globe. And a great part of this for all the new listeners, people that I've met as a contractor, working overseas, Alaska, Wake Island, things of that nature. People I met in the military, people I met online. It's just a plethora, and a cornucopia of fucking people that just hung on because either I just looked that funny where they didn't need a meme, or I had the voice to keep going. So let's get back into it. We didn't get into the People's Choice Podcast Awards. We did make it top 10 last 2 years. So we've hit a good scale, right? So what I did, and what's been going on recently, was that I had to lock myself away with stacks and notes, unfinished manuscript, old podcast ideas, and the story, on a project that I started back in 2017. So if you guys remember, July of 2020, I had the other podcast called Dragging Up 6.0. It's still out there, I think, on iTunes. But, it was based off the book that I started in July of 2017. And it was supposed to be about contractors and safety, contractor living, things that, they would see and do, because everybody else was punching the market with their fucking safety manuals and all this safety leadership and stuff. And it's not to say it's bad, Sam Goodman had, Safety Sucks. I mean, just think about some of the great books that are out there. But others were trying to sell the idea, hey, this is how you could be better. Bullshit. You can tell them how to be better in some arenas. If you're a subject matter expert in construction, okay, and you've done more than 2 sites, then, drop your 2 cents in and see if it adds up to $1 for somebody already carrying loose change. So it's just something that I had to do and step back on. And when I got back from the island last year, I didn't really focus on the podcast. I was going through physical therapy because of the peripheral arterial disease, trying to get boots on the ground back stateside, getting back into consulting and getting out and being involved with people here in East Tennessee and West Tennessee as well. Fuck, that's a long drive. But it was a good time to listen to some of my old shows and just do a deep dive analysis on where I fucked up and where I still have to go. So let's get out of that for a second and again talk about what's been going on. So out of the mess of that one book, over 372 pages, I used ChatGPT because what I wanted to do was restructure it, reorganize it, and think, okay, let's do editing, grammatical checks, things of that nature. Make sure my tone and everything was dead on. Because you know how I talk. I don't hold back. I say what's on my mind, and in some fucking cases it just comes out wrong when you're putting it into text, right? Because the reader may not look at it. Because I could say on my podcast, hey, this is intended for mature audiences. Nobody under 18, unless they're in construction, the military, or on OnlyFans, should be listening to this. All right? So what happens, I load my entire script and manuscript, documents, everything. It told ChatGPT, hey, can you reorganize this? And the fucking thing amazed me. Have you ever seen somebody throw a deck of cards into the air, landed on the ground, and, you know, you'll have piles of aces, you'll have piles of eights, all of it's out there. But I threw my jumbled mess because it contained the old podcast scripts for the Dragging Up 6.0. You know, it had all these ideas, and it pulled out 7 book ideas. And it says, here are your manuscripts for your different books. I never thought of it. They were individual chapters, but within it, ChatGPT said, no, you have a series of books, basically. And it threw me off, and I thought, well, wait a minute. Instead of trying to develop, you know, an entire manual, because, motherfucker, I hate looking at a CFR, right? I'm looking up things on fall protection, stuff like that. And, you know, we're talking literally thousands of pages with all the different things. And what it made me think, by asking it to do grammatical checks. Fuck. You can tell I've not done this for a while. Got a little bit of a stutter going on. But, you know, kind of like you'd use Grammarly to check your document. It took my words, restructured it, and broke it down into components and came up with series. Now, I'm having to go back through everything it generated because it updated some of the information, too. Because, you know, when I first started this in 2017... and I was researching and pulling data off of OSHA. I was pulling data out of SHRM and all these other periodicals and online portals at the time. And shit's changed. A lot of change since the pandemic, right? People are still getting additional shots, even though they have hundreds of doctors now publicly coming out and talking about the dangers of mRNA, you know, some of the side effects. But we didn't know it during that emergency, right? People just said, hey, give me the shot so I can travel, get my little fucking shot passport, and I can go. Because, you know, everybody was locked into social media and getting that robot script and just go, go, go. So out of that mess came the series, and it's called the Broken Compass series, right? Because one book will guide you into the direction of the writer's mind, right? And it'll give you steps like turn left at the oak tree, stop and pee in this river, pick up an apple and build up your health points, things like that. But now it's real. Instead of me mining through a lot of data by having ChatGPT, which I call Michael. I built a relationship with it. He understands my dialect, my terminology from reading the information, researching me. And I said, find what you can about me on the internet. So it developed a profile. It knows how I talk. I've uploaded not audio files, but where I have the transcripts generated from the podcast. So it understands my tone, my temperament, every fucking thing about it. So what's going to happen with this is, you know, you go to the Diary of a Bald Man website, you click on the link to the Broken Compass. It shows you all the books when they're coming out. Because I'm getting them scanned and verified for copyright. Because again, I wrote the stuff, but some of the correlating citations and stuff like that, I want to make sure there's no copyright. I want to make sure that we're good to go. And because so many people are saying, well, you used AI to do this, it's AI generated. I said, no. So send it to people who could scan it using AI or AI detection methods to show my stuff as AI free. It was my material that AI restructured to fit these book patterns. So now it's real. The pages are up. The site's live. We're working on discharging one book each month through December, plus other supplemental materials to go alongside it. And the free resources are there for you to grab and use however the hell you fucking want. If you need it or you don't need it, look at it. Get your own ideas for stuff you may be doing, listeners. Whether you're cooking, teaching, anything, look at what I've done and see what you can do. Safety professionals, HR folks, retirees, burned out supervisors. If you ever ask, is there something more real than corporate training slides and stale ocean posters? The answer is now yes. I'm providing that, on a book I started over 8 years ago. But it's not just about me writing books. It's about building a bonfire we can all stand around, swapping lies, lessons, and reminders that we're not alone in this crazy game, because it's really, really tough at times. And we'll get back into that in just a second. So before I say more, let's take that quick mental health break that you're so used to me doing in other shows. And wherever you're listening, in the truck, in the shop, hiding in the porta shitter, getting on Facebook for 5 minutes of peace, breathe. This is I Am the Best by Guest House. And remind yourself you're still here. You're still in the game, and you are, in fact, the best. And we'll be back in just a moment. All right, brothers, beauties, and anybody that's brain dead. So are you feeling a little more like yourself? Did you have a good chance to get away from the sounds beating between your ears from where I've been rambling? Good. So as we're getting ready to go, I want to share a piece from the 1 Foot Out the Door. Now, that's a book just released, and it was to honor my wife. Because when I got back from the island and I was struggling, and I got to tell you something, my wife did not know until the other day I've been writing a book since 2017. It flipped her out. She had no idea that I'd done it. She wasn't aware. I didn't talk about it. Not that I was trying to hide anything, but she knew that I got engrossed with my podcast, The Dragging Up 6.0. And that, just so you know, Dragging Up 6.0 is the final book for this year, coming out in December. And it's where we stripped and rebuilt and restructured all the other books that are coming out, which were actually chapters of this. And, it's going to be the end of the year. It's going to be a great thing. So moving forward, since the books are done, I'm just going through setting them up in Amazon and Gumroad so people can get to them. Going through the AI checks, going through the plagiarism checks and things of that nature. You know, we're even been contacted lately by numerous organizations. We're going to have those lists up on the website, diaryofaBaldman.com, under the Broken Compass section, because it aids everybody, right? If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't fucking help anybody else, right? So, okay. So if you didn't know, this book isn't just for folks retired or burning out, talking about the 1 foot out the door. It's for every one of us who looked at the exit sign and thought, maybe I'm done. And that's why I dedicated it to my wife. When I got back, I thought I was done. Got back into the consulting. Guess what? Clients started just disappearing because of changes in programs, changes in who they have relationships with their insurance. And, you know, I was like, holy shit, you know, what have I done? What happened while I was gone? You know, who filled in these things? Why would this happen and that occur? And it wasn't anybody's fault. It's business. Business changed. People go for lower rates. They go for better services. They go for, you know, things that appeal better to their level of business. So, you know, when that happens, and I focused on this book to be able to dedicate it on my wife's birthday, July 10th. So if you know Rhonda, make sure you fucking get on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and say happy birthday. And say happy birthday to other people as well. You know, don't just focus on my wife just because I do. I do it because she's got a great ass and I like to touch it. But that's beside the point. So let me read a little bit from the book just to give you an idea. So here's a bit that stuck with some of the people that reviewed it, and maybe it'll stick with you too, because all my books, except for this one, had numerous peer reviews. For this book, I had people that had retired. I had people that I connected with and asking them, hey, where do I go for help? Like with all the fucking things I'm going through with the VA. So this is one thing that stuck out with all my personal reviewers, not peer reviews. And this, here it is. From the first chapter. You know when you're almost out of the fucking door, but you still leave your boots by the bed just in case you change your mind. That's what the end of the career feels like. You've given the job your knees, your back, and your good years, and in return, you get a coffee mug, a pizza party, and 100 people asking for your number just in case they need help. But it never gets into their phones. You don't have to really leave empty-handed. You leave with stories. And sometimes those stories are all that keep you from coming back when you know you shouldn't. That's what this series is about. Not forgetting the stories or the people or the scars that come with this line of work, the one that you've come from. So if you've got your boots by the bed, maybe it's time to pick them up, or do like me, bury one, but just don't stand here with 1 foot out the door forever. Now, how did that make you feel? So here's your call to action. Again, so you can see what's coming up. See what you might be interested. Go to the diaryofaBaldman.com page. Check out the Broken Compass series pages. You know, and again, coming in August, it's going to have guides, free books, free shares, things about how I used ChatGPT, specifically Michael. And there's going to be a free book on that, how I used it to create my series, but off of a large, voluminous book with lots of notes. Grab the books and share them. If you see something missing, tell me. Fuck, you got my email address. It's been out there forever. It's on the fucking webpage. diaryofaBaldman1968@gmail.com. I mean, I get tons of emails from people still asking about when's the next show. Things of that nature. You know, giving me some ideas for what to do here in the near future. So, again, this is the apology tour because you were not forgotten. We are just getting started, motherfuckers, and it's now your turn to be a part of what's next. So, again, this is Allen Woffard, your host, your bald-headed friend, and the guy dumb enough to drag his broken ass through the weeds so you don't have to. Stay safe, stay weird, and remember, plan, prepare, communicate, and engage in life. We will see you again next week. I love you. God bless. Now get the fuck out of here and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
Allen Woffard has produced this podcast for entertainment purposes. Neither this nor any other podcast he produced constitute legal, medical, marital, sexual, or professional advice. The opinions and views presented by Allen are his own and do not reflect the views or opinions of employers, clients, family, Facebook groupies, promotional sponsors, or baby Jesus. Any health information shared or mentioned as an alternative does not create any patient-physician relationship or other professional relationship between the audience and the presenters. No person listening to any podcast from this rocket surgeon should act or refrain from acting based on the content of a podcast without first seeking appropriate professional advice and or counseling. Nor shall the information be used to substitute for professional advice and counseling. As stated earlier, this show is for entertainment purposes, not how to lead or change your life. Do what is best for you or what your spouse approves of. Allen Woffard and all guests of the show expressly disclaim all liability relating to any actions taken or not taken based on any and all contents of this site.